welcome your scoop to everything quarantine. I'm here with a good friend and one of the best DJs I know, DJ Jason Weiss. How's it going?
Hi, how are you?
Oh, just chilling, keeping
Yeah?
busy.
You having fun at home and not doing anything?
So much fun. I mean, I'm sure people who follow you know how much fun you're having with the girls. So I envy that, but I'm sure you're like, please get me away. So let's just start from the beginning. For people that don't know who you are and what you do, tell us a little bit about yourself and your business.
Sure. So Jason Weiss, or DJ Jason Weiss, whatever you prefer. The owner of Double Down Entertainment, based out of Philadelphia, and we do a bunch of work in Atlantic City too, and various different shore points. Before quarantine started, we were doing about 250 events a month during the winter and fall months. And then when the summer kicks in, we could bump up to about 400 events a month, because obviously we have some seasonal places and things like that. But started this company 10, 12 years ago-ish. And now I have 10 DJs that work for me full-time. A handful of friends and family DJs, we'll call them, that work for us when stuff kind of pops up, but officially there's 10 of us. And
I can attest to that you've been good when I'm like, do you got a DJ or do you need someone? So you've been really great at that. And, I think what you're doing is amazing. I personally have never seen someone who just started DJ and become this company. So I've seen you grow from the back end. So I think it's amazing. And that's kind of why I wanted to have you on here. I'm trying to get people from different lifestyles and different industries, but I wanted them to know a little bit about this. And obviously right now, during this whole pandemic, there's a lot of questions and a lot of people don't know. And I feel like from seeing different people work from home, no one knows what they're doing. No. And everyone is just trial and error and seeing how it goes. But I wanted to get you on here to just see from a professional what it is that you're doing, what you've seen, and we're just gonna take it from there. So I guess the first question is, how has this affected you? Obviously with the bars closing and everything, it affects you in that way, but just tell me a little bit about that.
So we completely closed down overnight.
Yeah.
And that's not just our business. There was a lot of businesses that hit that way, but I woke up one morning and that was it. We were part of a quarantine our industry and the hospitality industry is not the best place for a pandemic to kind of hang out. Yeah. There's a lot of alcohol and other things involved here, and people want to go out and socialize. And I'm in the gathering business and I'm in the socializing business. So overnight I lost 300 events right off the jump.
That's insane. And how, in the beginning of this whole thing, I know me personally, I was like, okay, this is going to blow over. It's going to be a few events. Did you see this gradually progress, or was it just one day you woke up and everything happened?
Well, everyone started kind of hearing right before, I'll never forget it, because the Aaron Express is such a big deal in Philadelphia. And I was supposed to work in Atlantic City that night at Dare in the Hard Rock. And the talent, the main act, canceled a couple days, a day before the show.
Right.
And so I kind of was like, okay, I'm off and things are getting a little weird, but I was able to still work that night. Like I said, we have a lot of accounts in Philly. So I wound up working in Philly and the bar was packed.
Yeah.
Packed. And so
I remember going out. I went out the weekend before. No, it was the Aaron Express. And I went to one of your accounts and I remember being like, okay, this is okay. And again, I was the casual one. And I remember my boyfriend, Matt, he was like, there's too many people. We need to leave. This is crazy. So I can attest to that.
It's funny. We actually put the DJ booth in the coat check.
Okay.
For this one gig, because it was this is weird and people aren't supposed to be near each other, but we're open. And so I wanted to make sure my accounts were taken care of. So I wound up going and working that night. And again, it was, people didn't seem to really care. And then 2 days later was, you're not allowed to go anywhere.
Exactly.
So, we saw it coming. I have a very close relationship with the owners of a lot of our venues and the talent brokers that book us at a lot of places. And we thought April 14th was going to be the date. That's what the first date they announced. It was April 14th. It was going to be 2 weeks and that was going to suck. but now it's May. It's what, April 29th? It's about to be
Here
May.
We are.
Right. If I don't see one of those Justin Timberlake memes about being married, it'll be okay.
True. I don't want to see any of it.
Not one. I don't want to see one because I just don't want to. I don't want to see it. But yeah, I mean, listen, I didn't expect it to last this long, and again, having no medical background whatsoever and no, education on that kind of stuff, I thought it was going to be a bad
but everyone is a doctor on Facebook and Instagram. What do you mean?
I mean, that's a whole nother interview for a whole nother day.
That for another interview.
Yeah, a whole nother interview. But yeah, I mean, listen, I thought it was going to be bad, and my sister-in-law's a nurse, and she's out in Cali, and it kind of hurt them first, and I was supposed to work in New York the following weekend that this all went down, and it was crazy. I never expected it to last this long. I'm hopeful that it's going the right direction, but as of now, as far as our business goes, we don't have any set date for when we're going to be back to work. And that's, for someone like me who's a planner and an organizer, that's the most frustrating part.
Yep. I can completely relate to that, and I'm sure other people can too. So how are you adapting to this? I mean, being a DJ and being in the entertainment industry altogether, owning a company, you're not just a DJ. How are you adapting to this? And hopefully it's temporary, but what changes are you making right now?
So, I haven't had back-to-back weekends off in the last 10 years. I'm always running or doing something, and this kind of gave us, at first I was sad and stressed, and then took a step back and kind of realized that we could focus. And I don't know if the people that follow me probably saw the post. It was like, first I was upset and scared, and now it's time to get back to work. And so we changed some of our systems around. We digitized a lot of our stuff. My business is kind of unique because it grew very fast. Yeah. I've been doing this for 10 years, but there's that old corny phrase, it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. So we've been doing this for a while, and then as the industry changes and as new venues open up and as staff members switch from venue to venue, we get calls. And it started kind of with Montone and I, and we're only two people, so we built a great team, and now our team's all over. But we're adapting by staying busy. We're adapting by kind of catching up on some rest that we didn't have. I have two little kids, as you know, and so they keep me nice and busy. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we started the Shut-In Sessions mix show, which we decided to drop a mix by a different DJ from DJs all over the country.
And we'll put that link in the story after this, so you guys can definitely listen to it. I know it's been keeping me sane for some game nights or Zoom calls.
Well, thanks. I mean, listen, we're about to hit 10,000 streams on the show.
That's amazing.
We'll hit it in the next few days. It's not a record-breaking number, but it's something that we're really proud of.
Do you think that your digital, or I guess I should say your virtual presentation and just your virtual lifestyle has hit like more people, and you're seeing more people follow you maybe because they're on their computer all day or whatever it may be? Like, do you see that growing faster than it would any other day?
So it's kind of a catch-22 here. Like, we definitely see a larger online audience than we've ever had. But every single DJ in every single market is also going virtual. Right. So, if you go out in Philadelphia on a Friday night, or you go out in Atlantic City, there's X amount of places for you to go. And there's X amount of DJs for you to listen to, or there's X amount of experiences for you to have. On a Friday or Saturday night, I don't know about your Instagram, but mine, every single person on top is live. Yeah. So it's saturated a little bit, and people are
quick.
Right. And it's very easy to do. And then there's the whole algorithm issue. We as a company decided not to go live. That's why we're doing the mix shows. We think the mix shows have some revisitability. Once that live show's gone, it's gone.
Yeah, that's true.
Our mix shows have been up. We've only had one flagged for copyright out of 45. So,
which is why I decided to pre-record this as well.
See, there you go. But yeah, it's different. It's not better or worse. It's just different. But I think something that people aren't really talking about is that Instagram Live hasn't exactly been great for everybody.
No, and I've seen like different lives that like celebrity lives that they were going to do matches. I don't know if you were following that Babyface one.
Sure, yeah.
And Teddy Riley. I know a lot of our Wood Ice viewers were tweeting about that, but even that, like a successful celebrity, like
right,
tuning out, like that sucks.
Yeah, and listen, you know, the entire world wasn't meant to be done virtually.
Yeah.
And overnight.
Not yet, at least.
Right, and overnight we became a place where we have to literally go on your computer to see people, and that's weird. And I don't care how great of a DJ you are or how cool your home setup is, you're never going to be able to replicate the feeling that people get when they're at your venue live. You're just not.
And exactly. I know I've seen some bands on here, like even like local shore bands that I see at the OD, and same thing. I was like, this is cool, and I'm thankful that they did this, and I appreciate it.
Right.
But it's not the same.
No, and like, you know, and you're kind of stuck. You know, your phone rings and it's done, or you get a text message and it's done. You know, it's a very or the algorithm picks up your copyright and it's done. But we're trying to put out the right kind of content, and I think that's where it kind of sits. You have to put out the right content.
Yeah. So talking about content, and you know, we kind of touched already on trends, which was what I was going to ask you. But having said that, do you see any positive trends that could prepare you for that you could use once we're done, and hopefully soon, this quarantine? Or any positive trends that you're seeing that, okay, maybe this is going to make it easier once I get back, or anything of that matter?
So, I mean, listen, there's been more content put out over the past 40 days than I've ever seen in my entire life as part of this industry. And whether that's good content or bad content, you know, we could argue that any publicity is good publicity. But listen, if this gets people more comfortable in front of the camera, if this gets people more comfortable DJing in their houses, if this gets people more comfortable putting themselves out there, because listen, I'm a perfectionist. Like, you all hear my mixes and you hear the final product. What you don't see is me sitting in my house for days.
Yeah.
You know, like that mix that Montona and I just did for Sirius XM. I don't do everything I mix is mixed live. I don't know how to use the programs to do it. So when I tell you, I restart that mix 100 times, you know, and it's hard for me to put myself out there. I know that sounds weird being a DJ, but I don't like.
I get it though.
Like that, you know?
I get it.
Right. And so as somebody that, you know, like, you're good when you're interviewing people, but past that, it's like, I don't really want to be in this spotlight.
I mean, even right now, you saw right before we started recording, my boyfriend was in here and I sent him out. I couldn't like be myself without it. And this is something that I've had to overcome, because I do live in a 1-bedroom apartment. And I was like, you know what? Like, I have to do this now because I have, like, this is it. Like,
yeah. And so listen, there's a lot of negatives too. You know, there's a lot of people stealing other people's concepts, and there's a lot of clout chasing, and there's a lot of weirdness, you know. And I think Instagram Live might have exposed some people to some things. You know, there's some very big name DJs that haven't been able to DJ live really. And then you sit there and you're like, well, what?
So, is there anything that you think you would change being in this quarantine right now and seeing what has happened and the trends? Do you think is there anything that you would have done previously before all this, whether it be financial, whether it be your branding? Is there anything that you would change moving forward?
I mean, listen, I think everybody can always save more money. And I think everybody can always plan better for the future. And I think if you have the ability to do multiple revenue streams and you have the ability not to put all your eggs into one basket, you should do that. Now, I know that's not feasible for a lot of people. And I know that a lot of people are working, you know, 60, 70, 80 hours a week just trying to get by. And so I don't really know that we could have prepared any better, or we definitely didn't foresee, you know, in my business, you expect to lose a gig here or there, or an account here or there, or you know, a venue here or there, but you don't expect them all to disappear in one night. So I don't know that we could have planned for it better. As far as branding, I mean, listen, I'm one of those weirdos that's never really satisfied. So I'm always of the opinion that you could be doing something to grow yourself. You know, one thing you and I kind of talked about is cleaning up your social media and cleaning up your stuff. So just be prepared for as long as you can be prepared for. You know, if you could save money, save. There's a lot of hospitality people that aren't necessarily the most responsible with their finances. So
yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, like, it is what it is. Like, let's be real. Right now, truth does hurt. There's a lot of things that we're learning about ourselves, our business, our finances, whatever the case may be. And truth does hurt. I mean, same thing with me. luckily I just started like really hardcore saving. So I have a little bit of backup right now, but 3 years ago, heck, I would be like freaking out, like, where's my money? I wouldn't have anything. But luckily I did grow and learn, but other people can take this time to grow and learn. And that's why I mostly ask you that.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about just personal and what your everyday life. I mean, I see all like your girls in the back and all those pictures, and it's awesome. But like, I'm sure there's some people that are wondering not only about your DJ like experience and what you're doing there, but how about personally? How has it been managing not only your business, but also your family and your kids and wife?
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been easy, and it hasn't been fun. I have a very strong marriage and a very supportive and loving wife, and we've been together a very, very long time. But, the first 2 weeks was tough, trying to adjust to everybody being home, and I travel a lot for work, and I'm away a lot for work. So being home all the time is something I had to get used to. But I think, we had a tough couple conversations, and we knew that we were going to get through it. We just had to kind of establish our different boundaries and what our different roles were now, and who was going to do what.
And I think that's really important. I know me personally, I'm a needy, emotional. I like communicating and over communicating, and like whatever you want to put that into a needy package. But like I had to learn, like, okay, we're like together, like the usual me, like if he wants to go to Target, like, how about I take a step back and I'll be like, okay, I want to come too, or anything like that. And I mean, again, that was like in like weeks that I had to deal with and I had to learn. It wasn't like overnight. I'm like, I'm going to fix this right now. There was tears, there was fights, there was arguments, but it is real and we are here. And it's like, whether it's your boyfriend, fiance, relationship, girlfriend, whatever it may be, roommate, it does matter because we're not supposed to be stuck in this box.
Right. No, and I don't think people are meant to spend this much time together.
No, absolutely not. And
God.
No, I was just going to emphasize on that.
Yeah, and like so the difference between now and say 6 months ago is if you have an issue with your significant other, you can go somewhere. Like you could take a trip and walk around the mall, or you could go to a bar and meet up with friends, or you could even go to a friend's house. And just get away for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We don't have that right now.
I learned that the hard way. I mean, one thing, I actually do retail therapy. Other than working in retail, I do feel, it honestly does help my anxiety. And it sounds silly. And some people are like, oh, okay, so you shop because like, but it really does. And like, at one point I was sitting and like, I had like some gift cards that I still have left over and I'm saving for like, another rainy day, and I'm like, where are my gift cards? Like I need to somehow find, like I was like a fiend, but like it was the only thing I had left of my sanity that I felt like I could escape and I could like do something about it. But same thing, it was just like you don't have any of those escapes anymore, and you have to, like you said, be transparent with your significant other, this other person you're living with, and it's like, hey, I'm having a bad day, please leave me alone, or hey, no offense to you, like I need to remove myself from this situation.
Yeah, and it's definitely emphasized with the kids. I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and they require 24-hour supervision and entertainment at this point. And they're used to going to dance class and daycare and school and this and that. And so now that that's gone, it's like, okay, well, if one of us needs a minute, then the other one has to be with the kids. So and then there's the guilt factor. Like, am I taking too much time in my office? Am I taking too much time to myself? That's not fair to my wife, who's the sole provider of this family right now, So I mean, it's just, like I said, some really uncomfortable and potentially awkward honesty needs to kind of go on here. So
how has schooling been for the girls?
That's all I can do is laugh. So my 1-year-old, so my 1-year-old obviously doesn't go to school yet. Yeah. My 3-year-old just started a new school. She's going to pre-K 3 at a Catholic school. She left the daycare. She's a smart one, that one. So we needed more.
Look at her! Look at her!
So we needed more of a school and less of a daycare. So it was funny when the Jew dad drops off his daughter at Catholic school. You know? But yeah, so like, I mean, she has a class every morning, Monday to Friday at 10 o'clock. It goes for like a half an hour to 45 minutes where they broke it down into small groups and her teacher teaches a lesson and then she has homework, which I'll show you right here.
Woo!
She has homework.
I can't imagine what it's like for those teachers on Zoom, like with all these kids like all over the place.
Listen, I can't say enough about how great Madison School has been. They have adapted, they have kept engaged, the principal's been keeping everyone informed. They're doing everything they can to keep these kids educated, and I really appreciate that. But then it falls a lot on us. You know, my wife is a teacher by trade, so she's doing this for her students and then trying to do it for our kids. And I'm 38 years old. My attention span on a computer is this big.
I can't even imagine it.
You know, like I don't want to sit and listen to somebody teach me this way. I took one online class in college and I bombed it. So like they're harder. They're just harder. And so we're going through the motions and she's doing it. I'm just lucky that she's not in like actual school where like there's requirements. You know, she's in pre-K where like, if she doesn't do the homework, she doesn't do the homework.
Right. God, I saw a meme or it was like a GIF or something, and it was like literally this like teacher and like one kid's like picking its nose, the other one's like upside down. I'm like, I just can't even imagine. And you know what? I think you guys are amazing, and I can't say enough. Like parents and people who are dealing with their kids right now, I can't say enough that you guys are doing the best you can. Just so you know.
And listen, and I think for parents that don't feel that way, like understand this. Like, I don't know what ages your kids are at, and even at all different ages, like I'm just very honest, even with my 3-year-old, you know, like, listen, daddy's having a bad day or daddy's doing the best he can, or you know, I need you to give me a minute. And I think I never got that when I was a kid. So it was very important for me that even when she gets in trouble, it's like we sit down and talk about why she's in trouble. And whether she understands that or not, I don't really care. But I'm just setting the precedent that we can have a conversation even when I'm upset. And that's something that I never had. I just got in trouble all the time. So like, it was just like, go up to your room. It's like,
I
okay.
didn't see that one.
Like, all right.
It's so true though. I'll
catch you guys tomorrow, you know? But no, I mean, listen, these parents are doing the best they can and the teachers are doing the best they can. And I just think now if there was ever a time to be a little lenient on people, it's right now.
So that kind of brings me to just, and it's like not really the elephant in the room, but you know, you're balancing right now your business, like I said, your family, and at the same time, how do you balance yourself, throw yourself into that mix and mental health? And do you go and hide? Like, let's be real. Like, what are you doing in that aspect and being a DJ as well?
So I have been very fortunate in my life to work really hard and to live in a nice house, and there's nowhere to hide here.
Yeah. There's literally nowhere to hide here.
I'm on the 3rd floor of my house, which I've turned into my office, which has now become my office, my recording studio, my wife's recording studio, my wife's classroom, my daughter's classroom, and my 1-year-old's playroom. So this little loft that I'm sitting in right now has become multi-purposed.
Yeah, I get that.
But again, you know, when I decided to have kids, we decided that the kids came first. So my mental health and my stuff takes a backseat sometimes to their needs. And that has a spiral effect sometimes. But listen, my family's healthy. We're safe. We're in a situation where financially we'll be able to get by for a little bit. Nobody wants to dip into their rainy day fund. And, you know, we talked about it before, like, it's pouring out now, you know, like it's raining about as far as it can rain, right? So like, but everyone, and you know, there's that corniness, like we're all in it together, and there's a really cool like story going around. Well, like not really, you know, everyone's got a different situation and everyone's got a different like kind of outlook on it. But what I can say is that if you have kids, just remember that they're little, and that imagine what it would have been like if. All I keep thinking about is what would have happened when I was little, because we didn't have iPads. I'd be like, shit, I don't know what to do with this now.
It's true. I didn't even think about that. You're right.
Oh my God. I think about that all the time. Like I have an iPad for both kids, and it's like sometimes just like, here you go. I need a minute. Like Val and I haven't eaten dinner together in 40 days pretty much. Like she'll eat dinner, then I'll eat dinner, or vice versa. Like she'll do bath time so I can have a minute to myself, or I'll do bath time so she can have a minute to herself. Listen.
You guys definitely need a date night. If anyone's watching this, after this, can we get a sponsor here? They need a date
listen,
night.
I'll pay for it after this is over. Like, I'll pay for somebody to take these kids for a but listen, we're doing the best we can, and I just hope when we come out of this, my 3-year-old knows that we may have been hard on her sometimes, and we may have been short-tempered at sometimes, but we were doing the best we can, you know?
I love it. I love it. So just to wrap a few things up, I know we had some questions about what should DJs be doing right now, how can they help themselves. So let's talk a little bit about that and kind of get into that recap of everything.
So especially now more than ever, just remember that everyone is watching at all times. You know, if you DJ in a nightclub and it doesn't go very well, there's only a handful of eyes on you. And as social media has made those eyes a lot bigger.
Yeah.
But, you know, when I first started, you would go to a gig, and when the gig was over, the gig was over. And people could talk about how much, people could talk about how much fun they had, but like there wasn't a story on somebody's story, or there wasn't a post or a tag or I mean, listen, I've been tagged in posts like worst DJ ever. It's like, well,
yep. Who are they? Let me find them.
That was at the Whitebriar when I first started.
Oh, God.
That was so funny. I literally and listen, I've been doing this a long time, and like, I'm not gonna pretend like your feelings don't get hurt when that happens, but like, you have to laugh. Like, yeah. I'm standing right next to you. You could come and talk to me if you're unhappy. But you know, going back to your question, what DJs should do now?
Yeah.
They should focus on their product, and they should focus on their brand, and they should focus on their content. You know, we live in a clout chasing kind of world, and where everyone wants to get rich quick, and they want to get famous quick, and they want to get popular quick. And I'm a firm believer that that's not sustainable.
It really isn't. And I think we're going to see that now, which you said, there's a lot of like clout chasers, and even like myself, so I always end up like putting my branding on the side to do my work and everything like that. But and now that I'm here now, I'm like, oh, okay, like I need to work on this a little more. And that's to your point, like you need to work on your brand before you do anything. Because like I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, maybe I do need to do more work and focus on this time to work on that.
Sure. So like, you know, I'm a lot of people's favorite DJs, and I'm a lot of people's least favorite DJs. Yeah. So there's a way to work on that. And you know, like, listen, like the people who love you are going to love you, you know, and the people that hate you are going to hate you. So what you need to focus on is the people that don't know you. So your online presence, your Instagram, your social media, your stories, your whatever, like we've been friends a long time. Okay. Mm-hmm. 5 years ago, if you looked at the content I'm posting versus the content I'm posting now, it's very different, and you can't see it anymore because it's archived.
I promise
you, I would show you, but like, you know, like
that's a good point.
I can see who you are, or who you've evolved from. Something
I was about to say that, or how you've grown, because I think if you went on mine, it was like messy, like sloppy, going out party girl, and now it's like, okay, she's a little more clean cut, but like. That you make a great point. Even for me, I'm like, I could probably go back there and make it a little cleaner.
Well, you've built a brand, you know, you've built you're now an online personality. You've partnered with the right people. You've built a brand, you know, and that brand there's nothing more important to me than my brand, because my brand is what I've been building for the past 10 years.
And it's a reflection of everything that you've done.
Right. And that brand has changed. And that brand has evolved. Like I was in my office the other day and I found old business cards, and I was just laughing. I was like, holy shit, the logo changed, the font changed, my wording changed.
You know more now.
Right. And now I'm responsible for feeding more mouths, and I'm responsible for the entertainment of more venues. So like for me, making sure that what I'm putting out to the world, right, is if you come and see me, random person that sees me on this Water Ice page that doesn't know who I am, if you come and see me in person and you've listened to my mixes, that's what you're going to get in person. Yep. And that's super important to me, because I know a ton of DJs that have amazing videos and ridiculous mixes, and you go and hear them live and it's like,
hey,
that's not what I heard on your social media. Like, that's not. Nick Montone and I, a long time ago, decided that if you hear our mixes, mistakes and all, if you come out and hear us, this is what you're going to get. And I think that's always been more important to us than being popular.
Yeah, and I think with that comes that popularity. Like, I think if you work on your trade first and you work on your brand and make it as genuine as possible as it is, like, I think that it does eventually come and it does catch up.
Sure.
And
like, how long have you been going out, you know?
Mm-hmm. No, I completely, and so that kind of brings it to, you know, what do you expect this industry to be like when we're done here? Do you think the same experience that you were given before is going to be like that after this is over? Like, what are you thinking?
I think everything's different now.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I think we will eventually get back to that. I think the way major nightclubs and major nightlife venues have done business will be forever changed. I don't think the $100,000 or $150,000 acts are going to be as frequent anymore. From
a financial standpoint, you think if people are going to be a little bit more frugal?
Well, so I think what's going to wind up happening is it's going to be a snowball effect. It's not going to happen at first. You know, you start planning to return to business as normal, right?
Right.
And I don't know if but financially that's not possible. So, you know, if your budget, like, let's take a major nightclub, right? If your budget is $5,000 to $200,000 a night for entertainment, right? You're going to lean toward the cheaper entertainment, right? So let's say the first 2 months you're back, you're on the cheaper side. You don't spend more than 10 grand.
Right.
And you're profitable. Do you really go back to spending 100 grand after that? Like, you're doing the same numbers you were doing in percentage wise.
That's true. So if it works, why change it?
So I think this allows the Jason Weisses of the world, the middle level DJ, like, I'm obviously not starting out, but I'm not touring the world, to become very successful. You know, like, I can prove my value to a nightclub if you pay me $5,000
versus
you can start doing anytime you guys are ready. Like, you start paying me that, well then, and the venue makes 60 grand, or you pay a guy $100,000 and the venue makes 40 grand, there's a lot less risk in paying me.
That is true. And I think that comes with, like, any industry at this point. Like, right. I know even in retail where I'm at, it's like, are people going to be spending that same amount of money that they did, knowing that this pandemic isn't like a future thing, or isn't in history books, or that it wouldn't or movies, like, this happened to us. And I think spending is going to change a little bit. And it is scary because our industries are based on spending, and people spending, not thinking ahead of the game or planning it out, is spending spontaneously. And it's like, I want to go to this concert, I want to go get this ticketed event, like, I want to buy this $700 Gucci belt, like.
Right. No, and I agree, you know, but I also think the rich get richer, you know? So, like, I think the people that are wealthy are still going to be wealthy. This cracks me up. It still says Madison down there. But yeah, I mean, listen, I honestly can't say. I would love to say that everything's going to go back to normal, but I don't think that's the case. And I think things are going to be scaled back. I don't know that things are going to be open as often as they are.
Yeah. And I think people need to just plan ahead, like you said, and just know that the more prepared you are in your business and ready to go, and the more you're learning your trade and perfecting it, that's how you're going to be prepared for when we come out of this.
Right. And I, you know, going back to our original point, it's like, there's ways to grow even when you're not generating revenue.
Yeah.
And there's small ways and there's big ways, and there's planning for the future. And I don't want the DJ world to come back the same way it was. I want it to come back better. And I don't want the nightlife world or the hospitality world to come back. I want it to come back better. I just want people to understand that there's room for growth, even in your office, surrounded by pictures of your kids.
Get another row.
yeah, I got to get another row.
Well, I mean, what are your last thoughts as we wrap this up? Anything that you want viewers to take, whether they're just parents, whether they're DJs, whether they're just in the entertainment industry, or just scared and listening?
Sure. So I guess my main thing is I want everyone to kind of remember this feeling right now, And I don't want them to remember it right when it comes back. I want them to remember it a month or two after it comes back. I want you to remember how scared you were about losing your job. And I want you to remember how you wished for anything you could go back to work or hug your friends or go give your family a hug. Like, the first 2 months are going to be fine, and everyone's going to be like, it's going to be 9/11 traumatic, you know, like the world was out to help everyone after 9/11. And
then they all started hating each other.
And then a few months later, we went back to the same shit, right? I want everyone to remember that at any given moment, this shit can get taken away from you. And so, like, to prepare for that, but also, like, when you are pissed off at a coworker or friend, you know, maybe, you know, handle it a little differently. Because I know for me, I would give anything to go back to work right now. I would give anything to come give you a hug and tell you we're going to go to a club and get a drink, you know, like, and I think people need to remember right now.
Yeah.
Because if they don't, then we're going to go back to the same old shit, and then I don't want that to happen. So
nope.
That's really it.
I completely agree. Well, thank you so much for having us.
Thank
at
you.
This point, it's been like 2 hours for those that don't get to realize the edits and everything. I'd just like to thank you for taking these 2 hours.
Sure.
And I'm going to hit the stop button at this, but you just stay back for a few minutes and then we'll wrap up. And again, thank you, everyone. If people want to find you, how can they find you? How can they contact you?
Pretty easy. It's DJ Jason Weiss, spelled exactly the way you'd see it. And then it's Double Down Entertainment, one word, on Instagram, Facebook, every form of social media. And then
can they find your playlist that you were talking about on there as well?
Yes. So the links to our mix show is in all of our bios. It's all over our Facebook feeds and all over our Instagram stuff. Again, new mix every day for the last 45 days. We're going to go every day till Friday, May 1st. And then May 1st, we're going to go once a week, but with talent from all around the country.
Awesome. And then if you guys want to see new topics, I will be doing this once a week, every Wednesday. Today we had an entertainment and DJ professional and specialist extraordinaire. I can't say enough good things. But next week, we're going to have someone in finance. And then the following week, maybe someone in fitness. Who knows? But please DM me. Feel free to tell me what you want to hear. Tell me who you want me to talk to. And I will definitely try my best to get you guys on here. Other than that, you can reach me at Farah Stacy, Farah. I have to spell it out because you don't know how many people spell my name wrong. Farah Stacy, Farah Stacy. DM me, message me to come talk to me, and hopefully I'll see you guys soon. Bye guys. Bye everyone.